and welcome to yet another episode of the Geospatially Africa podcast, the podcast for the African geospatial community. My name is Opeyemi.
And I am Iniobong.
So in today's episode, we have a very special guest, someone that I really respect in what he is doing to bring portfolio making closer to us in the industry today. In person of Emmanuel Jolaiya, is the CEO of Spatial Node, which is currently taking the geospatial industry by storm. It's a very easy way to get your portfolio in minutes, and then you can put this on your college application or your job application to showcase your work. So please, Ini, go ahead and introduce Emmanuel to us.
All right, thank you so much, Mano, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and today's going to be amazing because we're going to talk about a lot of things.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we'll be talking today about Spatial Node, the platform, everything about Spatial Node. So before we start diving into the discussion, could you mind telling us about yourself, how you got into Geospatial, and your background?
All right, so that was a very good question. So my name is Emmanuel Jolaiya. I'm a geospatial software engineer with special interest in geospatial community development. Like, I love people a lot. I love community. I love making impact. So talking about my background, I finished from the Federal University of Technology, Akure. I studied remote sensing and GIS, and so I have a background in remote sensing and GIS. And my getting into geospatial is sort of God's plan because I didn't choose geospatial as a course actually, but I was given geospatial by the Federal University of Technology, Akure. So back then in 2015, when I applied for an admission at FUTA, I planned to study electrical electronics engineering because I had interest in that. I was really interested in going into EEE, but EEE is like a very competitive course. So I met the cutoff. I think I met the cutoff, but there were people, gurus that scored more than I did. So, but because I still had a very good score, then, I was given remote sensing and GIS. So fast forward to 100 level in RSG, we had a symposium with the prof, that's the then HOD, who is now the dean of the School of Earth and Mineral Science, Prof. AYB and Ifowoshi, a very great man. So, he gave us orientation on RSG. I initially Googled about RSG, what does it mean? But the results were not really interesting, maybe because I didn't really know much about the course and what it entails and stuff. So during the orientation with the prof, right, a very great man, he gave us the right foundation and orientation we need about the course. He introduced the course, notable alumni, where we can work, what to do, like what we do in the course. He talked about satellite, which is very interesting, which got my attention. So after that, I already knew what to search for on Google. Then I went again to search Google to kind of have a deeper understanding of what I'm committing the next 5 years of my life into. And the results were, then amazing. So during the course of the orientation as well, I can remember he mentioned that we should get a laptop and start learning programming. Like, it stressed that a lot. And, we are not really doing much practical then because we just got into the department. So we are just basically doing theories about satellites, sensors. Personally, on my own end as well, I was now doing some research, going on social media, networking with people, reading blogs, subscribing to mailing lists, to also know what's happening out there, right? And I remember again, during the orientation, the prof said we are the only school that offers GIS as a course in Africa, I think West Africa. So I was curious to know what's also happening outside of our own, community, our local community, outside Nigeria, outside Africa. So I was just doing social media research, Google research, checking tutorial videos, conference videos, and everything. So, just to get to know what's happening out there. So since then, the rest has been history. I've just been advancing and building upon those skills and, the skills I learned in school.
It's really nice to hear your background and how you were motivated right from school to go into this field. And that's something that I would really like to emphasize, that anybody, wherever you find yourself, make the most of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't what you wanted, but you made the most of it right from school. So that's something that the new generation can really learn from.
True, I agree.
Yeah, so that's really cool to hear, really. okay, we know about you more now and how you found your path into this. But I think what we really want to know about is like the inspiration behind Spatial Node. Like, what is Spatial Node? How would you tell both the people that are in Geospatial, the field, and even people outside of it or people that want to join? What do you think Spatial Node is?
Okay, so that's a good question. So spatial node is actually what the GIS community needs. There are some things that we need, but we don't know that we need them until we see them, right? Because if you look at the GIS industry, the future of the GIS industry is actually us, the people in the industry, right? Without us, there can't be any tools or any industry. So spatial node is focusing on the fifth component of GIS, which is the people. So the platform is there for the people, built for the community to showcase their works and discover opportunities. So it's a growing community of geospatial professionals to showcase their creative works and list as talents for hire. And currently, the platform is like we have basically to focus. And the first one is for people to showcase their works easily, like as easy as it can be. In the GIS industry, if you look around, like at least a GIS personnel can use three softwares and three GIS softwares. So that's a lot, actually. That's a lot. So we don't want to we are trying to solve the need for the GIS people to be learning more software before they can showcase their work, right? Like you've done the whole analysis and everything. You don't need to learn any more additional software before you start showcasing your awesome works. There's a lot for us to learn already. We don't want you to be like a jack of all trade and a master of few or a master of none. So just focus on the tools of the trade, which are softwares that keeps coming every day because new softwares are released every day. Sometimes it can even be overwhelming. So why you just publish your works on Spatial Node? Right, so that's what showcasing of works do, and we are not just showcasing the work to the GIS community alone, but to the world. That's why even on Spatial Node, if you go there without logging in, you already start seeing awesome works by people in the industry. You already start seeing it there. So we are showcasing your works to the world, making the world know what's possible with GIS, right? Because on the platform you see different projects across the world from different countries. In fact, you'll be surprised that people are doing this kind of stuff with GIS. You see different maps and different tools, some tools that we've never heard of before, right? So then discovering of opportunities. So we just want to focus and make it easy for people to showcase their works basically. So that's what Spatial is all about, having the portfolio of your work, an up-to-date portfolio of your work. Because another thing with using other tools, for example, programming to create a portfolio of your work is updating it might be very difficult because I actually had that challenge. In fact, Spatial is like a solution to a personal problem for I faced in 2019. Because in 2019, then I was still in school, so we usually have a lot of assignments. So we make a lot of maps, land use land cover this, NDVI that, and whatnot. So we embellish these maps, and they usually end up on in archive and even sometimes in the recycle bin. So that wasn't a problem, anyways. Actually, until in 2020 when I was trying to apply for an opportunity and they requested for a portfolio of my works, and I couldn't offer anything. Like I know this thing, right? But how can I let the recruiter know that I know it? I need to show it to the recruiter, right? And it's not like content writing where you write blog. It's not like programming where you push your codes to GitHub. These are basically maps and sometimes reports, right? So, and sometimes, in fact, a single map that you see on the internet, it can be like the results can, or the process, the analysis can be like can involve the combination of 2 or 3 software before you come up with like a single map. So how do I let the recruiter know that, okay, this map you are seeing, I use these tools and these tools and these tools and these plugins, those tiny bits. How do we communicate to the recruiters? So I couldn't do that. It was a challenge because unfortunately I couldn't have anything. I couldn't offer the recruiter anything to see my works. So I had to end up learning web dev to code the portfolio then, which was very cool. But then I couldn't update the portfolio again. I had to start going back to update the like edit the code base and start pushing again. It was really, really, really stressful to use then. So I had to just consult my maybe I'm like I felt I was the only one, so I just want to be sure. I had to consult my colleagues in school, like, okay, guys, does anyone have their own portfolio? Like, how did you build it? And to my surprise, none of them have a portfolio of their work. And we are like at 400 level then, about to graduate, about to like enter the final year. So we're about to enter the job market. So I had an idea to okay find a way to make this easy for myself, basically. How can I build this platform such that it will be easy for me to keep updating it when I work on a new project? I just embellish the map, upload it. The step I took, for example, if you want to create a project on Spatial Node, you upload the map. In the description box, you write the step you took and everything. Then you select the plugin you used, tools you used. Like basically, that arrangement is like the solution to my problem. And then I just put A and B together, bounced ideas off some of my study buddies, and came up with the spatial idea, okay, to solve the problem. It's not a common problem because I already asked colleagues back then in school. And, the rest they say is history. And now we have Spatialnode out there helping people to showcase their works easily and publish a portfolio of their works like in a few seconds. You have a portfolio that you can attach to your resume.
Right, great. That's really interesting.
And that's so beautiful. Okay, so I did my portfolio because I saw the importance of it, but I couldn't code my own. So I used Esri's suite. So my portfolio is basically a story map, and I basically modeled it after Kate Berg. I know you know Kate Berg. Like our own, portfolio was also that. But Spatial Node is even easier because somebody has taken care of the programming part for you. They've taken care of all that for you. All you
Yeah.
need to do is
Yeah.
just use the user interface and just push your work on there.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about people being able to see their work without having to sign up. I think that's one aspect that I really like. I'm actually on Spatial Node right now. Now the idea is that people can just go to spatialnode.net and look at all the different nice work that people are doing, right, without having to sign up. And I think people can also get inspiration from the works from different people. And you did mention recruiters looking for portfolio, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I would like to know. Let's just do trivia. Like,
Okay.
how many countries are currently represented on Spatial Node? I know you have like metrics, that measure that stuff. Because I've actually met somebody in the UK via Spatial Node, and then we are connections on LinkedIn now.
That's actually interesting to hear.
Yeah, that's really good feedback. So, like, how many countries currently are represented on Spatial Node?
Okay, so we're talking about visitors. We've covered all the countries in the world. They come every day to check projects. We're talking about the users on the platform. We have over 50. Yeah. We've basically touched all the continents.
Yeah, so basically the whole continent in the world has been represented, by each of these different countries, and I think that's really amazing. Yeah.
Exactly. And the beauty about it is it's not like we did any special marketing or targeted ads to those countries. It's just basically with word of mouth marketing and the support of the Geospatial community. Normally the Geospatial community is very, very supportive, so it also helped with the promotion of the platform.
Yeah, that's one thing I always say about the geospatial community. Like, it's one of the easiest industries to get into.
Absolutely.
Like, it's if you know what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and you can work, like you're dedicated and committed and consistent. The geospatial industry is one very easy industry to enter in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that being said, did you build the platform yourself using your own, geospatial programming skills? Or you have a team, you work within a team? Because, like, say you're the face of the project, like, I know that, are there others within the team that you also work with? Are there contributors or maybe backers? How is the whole backend like? If you would like to share with us.
Absolutely. So actually, it was a personal project. The whole idea, because I was trying to solve my own problem, I built the first version by myself, but it's a teamwork now. In fact, we're like a startup now trying to solve the problem for the industry. So When I built the first version, I was trying to also learn a few things. So then I had to build um, a backend system. I had to learn some tools and stuff to get my portfolio up to date, right? Then what I learned from that process is more like strengthening the idea that I had, and then I was able to come up with a PRD, right, for the whole idea and everything, the concept. So then I just reached out to a study buddy of myself, and that's Philip Okyukyo, to support me with the back end. And I got a UI UX guy, Faith Kenny, a very good UI UX guy. And then I got a front end developer, Michael Eleyowo. So it's something big, something huge. Because before I even got them, I already shared the idea with my mentor as well. You know, the how I even came up with the name, the whole process was shared with my mentor. Because the idea then was to have like a platform like GitHub, but for the geospatial community, a platform like Behance or Dribble, but for the GIS community. So I was just coming, like, we had a lot of brainstorming session, same with together with the brand designer, that's Michael Olariwaju. So we're just thinking about, okay, let's try Map Hub, GitHub Map Hub. Then we checked for the domain. Domain was already taken. Okay, let's try map. Oh, it's like
Like a
just coming
crazy
up with
idea,
several
yeah.
ideas to give it a name before we eventually settled with Spatial Node. Before our Spatial Node clicked. So when Spatial Node clicked, then I just reached out to my guys, like, okay, guys, this is gonna be something big, and I knew I could never do it by myself. So I got their support, and then we released the first version of the platform late last year. So then what it could just do was upload projects and like just got like more like an MVP, more like a better version, just to put the idea out there to test the market. And the reception was very awesome. Reviews were great. In fact, we had people do tutorial videos about the platform on YouTube, which is really awesome and amazing.
That's a form of PR on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of strengthened the fact that, okay, this platform is coming at the right time. This is like what people need, right? So got more hands on deck, and to build it, to kind of refactor the code base, because we just built an MVP, just wrote spaghetti code just to get it out there. So we just refactor the code base, and then redesign the whole platform and branding and everything. Then I got support from friends as well, like Opeyemi and Agbaji Ahmed. Those are the people helping with the content. Olufemi Damilola as well. Then Israel Bankole, Bello Alima, Amadou Taiwo. These guys, they knew the idea from
Mhm.
inception to what it is at the moment, right? So I carried them along, and they were really happy and eager to help. Wale and a lot of people I forgot to mention. So it's teamwork. In fact, we are just basically a startup building this platform to address the common issue in the industry. So it's a teamwork.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And the fact that everything that we see out there, and I'm a stickler for like recognition, like personally. And I like the industry for the fact that like people can be easily recognized, because there are a lot of things out there, like you mentioned mentoring, then you mentioned that you have a mentor. I'm also for volunteering, like for for situations when jobs are scarce, volunteer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask this because I was curious about that, like because a lot of these startups, like you said, they require funding. And I want to know if some of these people that you mentioned, or some of the people on the team, are volunteering, if there's
Okay.
opportunity to volunteer for such a cause, or whether they are all like maybe capital partners, like they get some form of remuneration or something. And how were you able to get funding, basically, if like most of your people are, you know they are good programmers? For you to be able to do
Oh,
something this big, then they are very skilled programmers, and you know how much programmers are earning. Like, how do you even sort your team?
okay. So, my team, like most of us working on the project, are actually working for free. So we are basically bootstrapping at the moment. We share the vision together, right? Most of the people in the industry that still are in the GIS industry are driven by passion, basically. Because if you are driven by money, or by money in the industry, you won't be able to last long in the industry. So they understood that this is a common problem in the industry, and they share the same vision with myself. So we are currently bootstrapping, and then of course remunerating ourselves with some finances in a way or two. But it's not like a full-fledged remuneration system, right? Because some of them, they also have some other works that they are doing. So they are more or less volunteering in a way, to just push the vision.
For a common goal, I guess. Like since you all found like passion in this, and you know it's very, and it will be very huge. And you know, people, everybody wants to come on board something that is going to work. When I see something good, I really believe in it. And then immediately I saw something like this, like I personally, I really believe in it. When you see a cause that you can contribute to, and eventually, definitely, you will get your remuneration. That's what matters. For them now, they can say tomorrow, like all these people that you mentioned, even if they are not getting the money now, tomorrow they could say they were part of the founding members that grew something this big. I mean, come on, Facebook started like this now.
Absolutely.
Google probably started like this, friends coming together and pulling resources together. And as long as they will be recognized when it finally
Yeah.
blows, like when it finally blows, they will be recognized. That's all that matters, really. And then they could even get better positions on global teams. So that's really commendable.
Thank you. So even at the moment, some of the team members got job even while volunteering for Spatial Node. Like most of us back then, I told you this started in school before I finished school. So it's not as if we were like super, super good. So the first release was more like a spaghetti code, like the code base was just to put it out there.
Yeah.
But along the line, we learned new stuff. We learned new stuff. So even along the line, some of us like got some roles via during the process. You understand? Because we're already good and we have something to show for it. So Spatial is more like a portfolio to some of us, and Spatial is a
Hmm.
portfolio of portfolios.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's really, really interesting. So I was wondering if you would like to share some of the tools you're using to deal with the platform. Is that something you might want to share?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We are using world class tools that we are very proud of, and that's Next.js. So Next.js is like a framework, a React framework, and that's what we are using. It has a lot of features, a lot of benefits, and it was released by Vercel. So we also host it on Vercel as well. So for the front end, we are using Next.js, and for the back end, we are using Django. So, and the choice for Django is because of going forward, we have like in the roadmap, we have plans to do some GIS stuff.
Hmm.
And even aside that, that's what I use. That's my tool, Django. So instead of learning, say, Node.js or another tool that might delay the release of the platform, so
Yeah.
you just have to go with Django to build your stuff. Then Next.js for the front end. So going forward, depending on what we want to build next, maybe that can now warrant us to use other tools for the platform. But for now, the tools we're using is just serving us right. They are very, very cool frameworks that we are leveraging on the platform.
These tools that you said now were world
Mhm.
class, like you said, because I just quickly Googled, and I'm not a very technical person. I hope to be. Maybe I'll be your student one day. But then I went there and I saw like so many very cool websites using it. Like you said something also about like the fact that you're bootstrapping and stuff. Are you open to venture capital, fundraising, and all that? Like, are you at that stage yet where you feel like, I think you can come on board and like push this thing, and then we'll be here Series A or Series B funding very soon.
So yeah, we are not at a stage yet, but of course we are very open to that. In fact, it's on the roadmap. But obviously, as you can see, Spatialnode is free, so we don't have paying customers yet. Nobody's paying for anything. So, and in fact, I really hope it remain like that, because the initial idea is to make it easy for the GIS people to do X and Y, post their project and this without needing to stress themselves. So I really hope it remains like that. Even myself, I'm a lover of open source, so that would forever remain like that. Forever free. Post your projects for portfolio and everything. But then we are working, like, actively working on some other features that we are going to charge for. So when we release those features and when we get to that point, then we can now start applying to VCs and accelerator programs. But for now, we are not at the stage yet, but we are preparing ourselves because it's very important to prepare ourselves so that when we get to that stage and we apply for it, just get it once. But of course, we are definitely open to angel investment at this stage.
I'm also for open source, and then geospatial industry, like for those coming into the industry, like I don't think there are particular statistics yet, but I feel like a lot of us came in through open source, even if we eventually branch out into the more
Mm-hmm.
paid version of things. But it would be
Yeah.
very good also if Spatial Node could remain free forever. Like then most people would be able to access
Mm-hmm.
it. But then I understand what you said. And then I think it's just the normal way of things, the
Yeah.
normal way for it to progress. Yes. So
Yeah. So Spatial Node will continue to be free like this, but then we are going to add some more features with um that'll be premium. So that's the model around it.
All right, great. All right, so talking about features, could you tell us about the features you currently have? You know how people can navigate through. Because earlier we talked about that Special Node has two sections, right? You have the portfolio section, and you also have where people can enlist talent or get hired. I think that's something we could talk about. But let's talk about the the other section where people showcase their talent, right?
Okay.
So, what are the different features on Spatial Node now before we move on to what's coming in the future?
Okay, so the current version we have is version 2.0. So in this version now you can publish your works like in a few clicks. You on your dashboard we have the project section where you can upload your project. We have private. You can make your project private. You can make your project as a draft and share with your friends, for feedback and reviews before you eventually make it public. Because it's on the platform on Spatial Node itself. All the projects you are seeing there are not all the projects on Spatial Node. Those are only the projects that people have decided to make public. There are some people that have private projects on their portfolio. Maybe it's a work in progress. They are still working on it, updating the description and
All right.
everything. So that feature is available for projects, private drafts, and you can also pin your project, your favorite project. You can pin it on your portfolio. Then we have appreciation. That's getting your project, to receive appreciations from the community, like your project. Then we have feedbacks, receiving feedbacks and comments on your project, and then the home page where you can also discover projects. So that way you can see other projects and tap inspiration for your next project. Yeah. Then of course analytics where you can also see your project views, how many appreciation it has, how many time has it been viewed, and how many feedbacks has it received. So those are the features you have currently on the platform.
All right, cool. So are there plans to also provide an option to get hired? You know, where maybe companies can post jobs or people can post jobs for people to maybe get hired.
Yeah, so that's what we have been actively working on because I always like to do novel stuff, something somewhat innovative, and it's always difficult to do something like that because there's basically nothing you want to do in this world that has not been done before.
Yeah.
So I'm just always looking for the innovative side to things, and it has clicked. We've discovered the innovative side to that job posting because I don't want to just have it like have the platform open for anyone to
Right.
just post any jobs, to prevent spammers and everything. So we've had several calls internally, brainstorming session, and then we figured out the innovative side to it, especially for the GIS people in the GIS industry, because we are focusing on the GIS industry. And that's what we're actively working on now. So the vision is to make it easy for you to showcase your work. Quite all right. We are doing that. We've achieved that. You can create a portfolio in a few seconds now. You can publish your works. And we even help you to share your works on social media as well to also get more visibility because that's also part of showcasing your works. So then the second objective, which is to make it easy for you to discover opportunity, is now what we are currently working on, and we plan to release in the next quarter, hopefully. So that will involve obviously job posting and job discovering. So on the home page, you currently have a discover button. So that will be segmented into discover jobs and discover projects. So you can discover jobs. Currently, you can only discover projects, and tap inspiration from projects. You can filter projects by tags and everything. But now you'll be able to discover jobs as well. And so this way to be open to industries and organizations to post jobs and get their jobs in front of thousands of visitors that visit Spatial Node per week. And of course, some more other interesting features are on the pipeline around that job. Because if you notice on the industry, just LinkedIn, for example, and you search for GIS, you see a lot of profiles with open to jobs. And when you check their profile, you see that they have the skills required, but some of them are not showcasing the skills. Some don't have the portfolio of their works, right? And you see also that there are a lot of open to jobs, like hiring, a lot of hiring as well. Like, so the job is there. So it's just that this job are scattered everywhere. You see someone LinkedIn, someone Indeed, someone. So there's no central area or a central node, maybe a spatial node.
Yeah.
to have all these jobs in a place where you can just go there and you be rest assured that okay, you'll be seeing valid jobs, you'll be discovering valid jobs, and be able to apply easily to those jobs. So that's the idea, because it's really a challenge in the industry. Like, it's very difficult to get a GIS job now. It's very, very difficult to get a GIS job. So you're trying to bridge that gap, make it easy for people to get a GIS job beyond just showcasing your works and having a portfolio. So the plan now is to internally match people to jobs based on their skills. Like, if you can use ArcMap, if a recruiter posts a job that requires some skills like ArcMap, you get recommended for that job and you get notified about the job. So this would be like jobs that you already have examples from.
Yeah.
And how do you know you have the skills? Of course, to be on your profile, and also from the projects you have posted, it will be there as well, the tools you use and everything. So it would be easier for recruiters to see talent they're looking for, because they can already see what the talents can do. They're going to show the recruiter, okay, this is this person. They said he can do this. He has the skills. He has published this kind of project in the past. So, it's going to make the work much, much easier for recruiters, to discover the right talents, and also for talents to also discover the right job for them.
All right, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think we here and a lot of people are looking forward to this feature that you're talking about, because, of course, everyone needs a job now and then too. All right, so maybe I'll just ask this one. So I can remember one time you tweeted about the tools that we used on Spatial Node. I think you were doing a kind of research where you said, "Oh, this year this is what tools people are using."
Sure.
In the geospatial industry. So could you do you have a metric where you use to measure or have statistics of what tools people are using? I mean, people on Spatial Node are using to make their maps or work on your projects. Is that something that you have information about?
So that was in the 2021 year review mail we sent to the users, and during the course of preparing the content for the email, we checked internally to see what people are posting on the platform, the tools they are using. When you're posting a project, you select the software you use for the project and the plugin you use for the project, right? So internally, we aggregated those softwares, we ranked them to know the one that is, the most used software by the users on the platform. So we realized there were three: ArcMap, Google Earth Engine, and QGIS, right? So that was when I now tweeted it on my Twitter account, on my personal account, that okay, these are the softwares that are trending in the industry. So we usually monitor how people use the platform, what people are posting and all, and we as like the team of that are building Spatial Node, we have GIS background, we are GIS people, so we're always curious to know what's happening in the industry. So that was like a report of the most used tools we have seen on the platform, and we can safely project this on the industry. Maybe going forward as well, we have in plan to release this kind of report, because the last time I checked, QGIS is taking the lead now, as the softwares that people are using for projects. QGIS is taking the lead. Then Google Earth Engine as well. So if you notice, even on the home page, if you use the Google Earth Engine filter, you see a lot of projects under Google Earth Engine. Those tags on the home page are basically the top tools that are being used in the industry. Like those tags on the home page.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to see, people using Google Earth Engine. I think that platform is really, making the round lately, and I think that's really interesting. So we're actually looking forward to see what results we're going to have this year. I mean, you mentioned QGIS is topping the list now, and I think that's really interesting that people are also getting to start using a lot of open source GIS software, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, open source is it's really really great. Actually, it's really great. Thanks to open source, especially some of us here in Africa, that we don't really have much resources to get licensed counterpart of open source.
Yeah.
So it's really great to have QGIS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open source will forever be relevant.
Open source is like what we have in this part of the world, where most of us, we're trying to look at what's trending in the world, and the fact that QGIS especially is like standard. It's not as if it's substandard in any way, and yet it's so free. And it's the same also with open source mapping, OSM, and we also noticed that some of these open source things, thanks to the developers, thanks to the contributors. Sometimes we don't even recognize these people, but they are the ones making sure that they are up to date. If you go to QGIS, for example,
Yeah.
now there's I only just saw like that there was
Yeah.
even an option to donate to the project. Like there are a lot of people that have dedicated their lives and careers to this, and like it just validates what you said, that geospatial industry, as awesome as it is not somewhere where you go into for the sole aim of making money.
Yeah.
I think GIS or geospatial industry more has to do with like solving global problems. I think it's a sector that's really focused on actually solving people's problems, like whether you have the money for it or not.
I agree.
And I hope that this type of sense goes across, to other even sectors, so that I think if we do more of that, maybe the world will be a better place, I guess.
Yeah, that's correct. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Even some days ago, I think they released the metrics for QGIS on Twitter. Like QGIS has about 11,308,979 opens in the last 30 days. Like over 11 million people opens QGIS in the last 30 days. It's widely used actually.
It's really helping. It's working. That's why it's widely used.
Exactly.
It's standard. You get a lot of work done, and it's free.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
And we noticed that like you have several international partners on board your project, and you've even gotten some very notable mentions within the industry, from people like
Alright.
Matt Forrest, Kitberg, and a host of others also. That's a huge feat. It really validates the work that you're putting into this. Now, I wanted to know, and even you're a face to be recognized in the Nigerian geospatial sector. How did you build? How were you able to build these partnerships? Maybe you could give like hints to others that might have similar ideas but might not have been able to bring them out to work on them. How do you advise people to network, to build such partnerships? Because networks like this and people like this recognizing your work really does a lot to boost your morale, not only your morale, but visibility and validation of your work. So how would you advise people to be able to build these partnerships and networks?
Yeah, that's a very great question, actually. So, to answer that, honestly, the promotion and the partnership is actually out of their goodwill. The GIS community is very amazing and supportive. as we already know. In fact, I said I've seen tutorial videos on YouTube from someone in Brazil about Spatial Node. So, and a lot of other promotions everywhere. So, these are I'm grateful for, absolutely. But honestly, it's out of their goodwill. Then, on the other hand, the tool is very great as well. So, building a very great tool also would be easier for people to promote it for you, right? And the tool is not just great; it's undeniably great and just in time. Now that portfolio is trending and everywhere. So I don't want to promote a bad product and jeopardize the reputation. So the tool also is one of the reasons why the promotions are just there. And talking about partnership with Matt Forrest, I connected with Matt Forrest on LinkedIn and Kate Berg via Twitter and Urisa. I was part of Urisa mentorship program in 2020 or thereabouts. I can't really remember. So my mentor then, Christine Justin, knew about the idea before I even started. I always share it with my mentor. So she advised, and she knew about the whole idea and everything. And then fast forward to this year, when the idea is already out and the platform is out already, then she connected me with Urisa Vanguard Cabinet for some form of support. So that was where I met Kate Berg sort of officially, because we have already met on Twitter as well, because it was her and Dr. Michelle Tobias alongside other community members that charged me to build the GIS chatbot back then in 2020. So then our handle was Maptastic Kate. Yeah. I think the hashtag she used to use then was Maptastic.
Yeah, I think now it's mapping memes. Yeah.
Yeah, nice mapping memes. So yeah, that was how I kind of got connected with Kate's Bag. Then, and something about me is I always seek help. I always reach out. So these guys, they are very great. They're always happy to help in this GIS industry. I'm just so happy about that. So it's just for you to reach out. That's all it takes. So you reach out respectfully, of course. You introduce yourself. You let them know what you are doing, and so yeah, that's how it is. Like, it's just out of their goodwill, and sometimes me reaching out to them.
That's really beautiful, and again, it just validates the fact that like there are people that are always there to help.
Absolutely. Like Emmanuel said, you also have to be able to reach out, be humble enough to reach out, and try your best to the best you can. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask the final question. So we like asking this question because we want to see the industry. You talked about community, right? We also want to see the industry and the community in Africa boom, grow, and become, what we see in other part of the world. So the
Yeah.
question here is, what do you see the future of the geospatial industry in Africa like? What would you like to see in the future, starting now and beyond?
Yeah, that's a very great question. So what I would like to see is to see more startups in the geospatial space in Africa. Like, that's what I would like to see, because like, obviously the future of this geospatial industry in Africa is bright, like super bright. We have bright minds in Africa. So, but that's not enough. What we need to keep the industry flourish is more geospatial startups. There are VCs. The market is there. The market is worth billions of dollars, growing at annual CAGR of 23%. So like it has a very high projections. That's the geospatial industry at large. So, and Africa is big. We have the talents. We have basically all we need. So what we just need to do is to partner if possible, collaborate. Those ideas that we have in mind, build them. A lot of us have ideas, but we don't build them. Just look at Spatial Node, for example. I didn't have intention of going to startup. I'm very comfortable working with people and for people, right? But now I built the idea, and then it's not a startup. So we need to just keep building these ideas, no matter how little we think it is. Consult the right people, flesh it up, and build it. So I really wish to see more geospatial startups coming out of Africa in the future, because that way we can be able to flourish. Because we have people learning GIS, we are preaching people to learn GIS. So when they learn the GIS, how are they going to get job in the GIS? What are they going to work for? But if you have more startups, that will create more job opportunities, right? That will create more validation that okay, GIS is an industry. GIS is solving problem. There's money in GIS. There is this in GIS. GIS can solve this and this. So we need to create more startups so that we can create more job opportunities. We need to balance that. Otherwise, we'll keep creating and training people on how to use GIS. But the other end, which we need to balance, is also creating startups or building solutions that will create more job opportunities so that we can now connect
Yeah.
the opportunity, with the talent, then the industry will keep flourishing. So we need to like balance that wheel actually. That's creating more startups. So, and I believe we have what it takes for sure. We have the talent, we have the skills, we have the knowledge and everything. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
All right. Thank you so much.
It's just a matter of time. And with people like you, in the industry leading the way, there are not many startups like you said, but there's room for potential, there's room for growth, in the industry, like you also said.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's beautifully said, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things is that young people are the ones trying to not that other people are not doing great, but I think just being part of this movement is just amazing.
Yeah, true. I agree. I mean, the people before us are always there to help and direct, support, right? Guide us. I mean, you can't do something like this on your own. So, for example, earlier I said they have Matt Forrest on the board of Spatial Node, right? Because I know this industry is very huge, so we need support from people out there, and also I have Joseph Arrow as a board member of Spatial Node, and we have many people in there as well in Africa, people that are already there before us to guide us. So, I mean, it should be like a no-brainer for any startup to have old people like industry giants on the board of their startup. So that way to be easier for them to move faster and then to move strategically as well, leveraging the experience of the leader on the team.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's beautiful. I think that brings us to the end of this session with you, Emmanuel. It was a beautiful session. I think I really enjoyed every moment of it, and thank you for honoring our invitation. We hope to see Spatial Node fly to, the pinnacle, because we know it's going to go. I see it personally as the next Facebook. I think the next Facebook of the geospatial industry. Like, I really feel it will really, really
Yeah,
fly.
thank you.
And yeah, so you're doing great work. Thank you to the team as well. I know it's a team effort. It's not just Emmanuel behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
It's a team effort. Everybody that was mentioned and not. It's just beautiful what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for repping Nigeria to the world.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for having me. This was interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.